Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes.
Hey guys, Amber here from A Meeple Family, and today I am going to be talking about great games that you can play at 2 players. Before we get started, I definitely want to invite you guys to give this video a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. That really helps our channel grow and it means so much to us. So I don't really have these in any particular order, and my goal for this video is if you are looking for 2-player games, these are some that we enjoy playing. So at least it gives you a list that you can start digging into, and tell me in the comments below if you have had a chance to play any of these and also what your favorite 2-player games are. So first up is one of my favorite games called Tarji. This is really just a simple worker placement game, but the mechanics of this game are so smooth. I mean, if you love worker placement and kind of that tableau building, this game is just done so well. And I personally love the theme. I love the artwork. I love the aesthetic of this game. And I've talked about Tarji in a previous solo video because you can also find a solo variant for this that is made by the designer of the game over on Board Game Geek. Tarji is definitely one of my go-to 2-player games and I love it. Next up is Jaipur. This is kind of a gateway game for Josh and I. This game came out in 2009 and Josh and I were married in 2006. And I remember this being kind of like one of our gateway games, like right around that time. This was one of the more like modern board games we brought into our collection. This can also be found over on Board Game Arena if you're wanting to give it a try. But basically this game in a nutshell is you've got cards and there's different colors or goods on the cards, and it's like a collection, like a set collection, with the caveat being that you're wanting to sell off your goods quicker than your opponent. I love this game. I still love this game. I think that's when you know it's a good game, when you've been playing it since 2009 and you still enjoy playing it. So that is Jaipur. Next up is a game from 1999 by the famous Reiner Knizia called Lost Cities. I can't say the theme really comes through on this one because it's sort of supposed to be like you're going on an expedition, but the gameplay is awesome. It is a really simple game, but there is so much game to be had in this one. I feel like Lost Cities is such a famous game, it almost feels like a rite of passage, like, oh yeah, I've played Lost Cities. The next one on my list is not one of my like all-time favorite games, but I do think it is a really good 2-player game, and it's the Unmatched series. My husband and my son really love this game, so I do end up playing it quite a bit, and I actually kind of prefer it at 4 because there is an option where you can actually play this one up to 4, so this one is probably the only one that's not like a true 2-player game because it does have that 4-player option. But this just like isn't my favorite type of gameplay, like mechanic in general, where you're just kind of like playing a card and it's just kind of like combat. But I do think this is like worth mentioning on a 2-player list. Like this is a great game. And if you like those kind of games, I obviously don't want to just have card games and tableau builders, which is what I love. There are other 2-player games like this one that have a little bit more of a combat feel. And if you've never tried one of these, I highly recommend the very first volume, which is called Unmatched Battle of Legends. That one came out in 2019, and it gives you 4 different characters to play. And from there down the road, if you want to add on, other expansions and other characters, I do think starting with the volume 1 is a great foundation to start at. Next up on my list is a game put out in 2019 called Watergate, and I have extensively talked about this on my channel. I really enjoy this game. I think why I love this game so much, to be honest with you, is the theme. I absolutely love like the historical foundation they lay. I love like the rules are loaded with like historical facts about all the people that you're playing with. And I just think that is just super cool in this game. I love Watergate, but this is one of those games I actually get like mad when I play because of the tug of war. And it drives me absolutely up a wall to get those pieces moved into my side and just having someone take them away. And sometimes it just feels like I'm climbing a mountain of sand, like where you put one foot up and you're just like sliding back down, really getting nowhere. That's how I feel. But for some reason, I just love this game. I just think it is so much fun and it is a really great 2-player game. And there's really nothing else that I've found mechanic-wise like this game. And I think that's why I like it so much, is it's so unique and it does what it does really well. I'm actually going to be putting a how to play for this on the channel tomorrow. So if you're not familiar with it, definitely check it out. That will give you a good idea of how this game plays and if it's a good fit for your table. But Watergate is one that Josh and I thoroughly enjoy. Next up on my list is a game that came out in 2020 called Aqualin. This is a 2-player tile laying collection type game. And I've actually done a video on my channel kind of of covering the how to play. It's such a simple game, but it's got so much gameplay in it, which I think is why I just love teaching it to people, because they're like, oh, okay, this should be super easy. And then we play and you realize, wow, this is taking a lot more brain power than I thought it would. For me, this game checks a lot of boxes because it's got great components. The tiles are kind of like Azul tiles, which makes it great for like outdoors if you want to go like sit on the patio and play a game. This is a great travel game if you want to take it on the road with you because it doesn't take up a lot of space. You literally just need your Ziploc bag of tiles and your game board and you're ready to go. And a great like ocean under the water theme as well, which is always delightful. Another great game I can recommend for 2 players came out in 2019 by Devere Games, and it's called Paris, La Cité de Lumière. There is also an expansion called Eiffel that I definitely recommend as well. Get the base game, try the base game, and if you love it, it will just kind of add some more of these postcard options that just kind of give some more versatility and variety to the gameplay. What I absolutely love about this game is it's like 2 phases. So the first phase, you're thinking about laying down these street tiles, which later come back to haunt you because you have to lay down Tetris pieces on top of your colored street tiles. So this one is really challenging for me. I don't have that gift of being able to see how these Tetris pieces are going to fit, and I'm usually end up needing to get the postcard that's like, hey, if you have Tetris pieces at the end of the game, they won't count against you, because I always end up getting the wrong shaped Tetris pieces and I think they're gonna fit on my, street tile, my cobblestone tiles, and they don't. But this, regardless, is a really fun game, and it's beautiful, and it has like such a relaxing vibe and feel to it. This is a game where even though you have to really like think and concentrate on what you're doing, it still feels like you can have a conversation and, talk about your day. The theme is outstanding. The aesthetics, the components, they're all amazing. And on top of that, gameplay is usually under 30 minutes. So it just feels like you get so much game for a little amount of time, which I really love. Next up on my list is a release from 2021. It's actually kind of like a facelift reprint, and it's called Air, Land, and Sea Critters at War. And this is a fantastic, quick 2-player game. We have played games in little as 15 minutes. My son really loves this game. Again, he's 12 years old, and I think this would be absolutely a fantastic like classroom game because it's so quick and easy. It's easy to teach, it's quick to understand, and after you've played through the game once or twice and you've seen all the cards, I just think gameplay gets that much richer and better. So as I stated earlier, like combat games are not my favorite type of games, but I wanted to have like some variety in here, and this is one again like my son and husband really love. And honestly, if I had the option between Unmatched and Air, Land, and Sea Critters at War, I would pick Air, Land, and Sea Critters at War over Unmatched. I really like the gameplay and like the use of special abilities more in this game. So maybe if you like combat games or you at least want to give one a try, I think this would be a great option, and it's definitely at a lower price point than Unmatched. So if you just kind of want to see what it's like, you're not out too much, and it really is a fun game. Now, I really don't think this would be like a true 2-player list if I didn't suggest to you the game Patchwork by Uwe Rosenberg. This game came out in 2014, and I kind of feel like it took the world by storm. Everyone was talking about Patchwork. At this point in your gaming journey, I am assuming that you have heard a plethora of information on the game Patchwork and heard it on many of lists. And let me just tell you, if you get the chance to head over to Board Game Arena and give it a try, you will get a good feel of how this game works. Of course, I'm a huge advocate of the physical copy of a game. I just love having the actual game in front of me and not being on a screen when possible. But this is one of those games that I do think works really well on Board Game Arena, and I think a big reason is because it has all the pieces and the tiles, so it's a little bit more cumbersome to like maintain the game and set up and tear down. But this is a great 2-player option, especially if you're looking for like a Tetris tile laying game. All right, and my last game that I am going to recommend to you guys is a button shy game, and the particular one that I have is called Moving Pictures Dinosaur Outbreak, and there is one that is just called Moving Pictures. I just really like the dinosaur theme, so I went ahead and took advantage of that one. Now, this is actually a cooperative 2-player game, and in a nutshell, what you're trying to do is get the like scenes of your movie in numerical order. I don't typically love cooperative games, and Josh really doesn't either, and we're really particular about what cooperative games we play, but I thought this was a unique one to add on the list. With it being cooperative, that kind of gives you a different mechanic of game to try out as well. So the reason that I like this this one is there's no talking, which really eliminates a big problem with cooperative games, which is someone just like quarterbacking and just like telling everyone what to do on their turn, and everyone else is just kind of there to help them play their game. So as I stated, in this one, you're dealt these cards and you don't know what your teammate has, and you're trying to kind of like just look at each other and somehow figure out what cards to play. Now, there are some unique cards in the game that let you like delete scenes and move things around to help you like win the game, and it kind of gets harder and harder each round. It's such a fun game. It's so compact and small, and you can play it in less than 20 minutes. And again, like I said, it's cooperative, so it kind of offers a little bit of a different option for two players. Now, Button Shy does have a lot of other two-player games, but this is just one, like I said, that had that cooperative element that I thought was just a unique one to put on the list. Well, I hope you found this video helpful, and as always with these videos, I'm looking to maybe give you some new ideas for games if you're feeling like your game table's getting a little stale, or hopefully remind you of some great games that are sitting on your shelf that you can get out and play. Sometimes I feel like just talking about games I own, I want to play them all. Like as soon as I'm done recording these videos, I'm like, all right, Josh, we have to play some games because I just talked about all the games I love and I'm dying to play all of them. So hopefully that is contagious and you are feeling the itch to play a couple of these games. Now, I know I didn't put this in any particular order, but I definitely would say that my favorite games on this list by far, and that's just personal to the types of games I like to play, they would be Tarji, Jaipur, and Watergate. Those are some of my absolute favorite two-player games. But I also want to quickly talk about a couple that I'm looking to try out, and one of them is Sobek. I've heard mixed reviews on it, and I definitely want to try that one out, and I did just order a copy of Mandala. So hopefully I will get to cover those eventually on the channel, but for now, this is my list of top 10 games that I recommend at the player count of 2. Thank you guys so much for taking time to watch, and I'll see you later.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes.